Hey, it's Orla O'Brien here from A Touch of Sparkle again. Today we're going to be doing another basic Christmas design. We're going to do a Christmas penguin with a Santa hat on. So we're going to start off with the base colour I have here, which is a gorgeous sparkly colour, which is two different colours layered together. The first one was Essence, and that is called Choose Me. It's a gorgeous sparkle. And then I'm going to add even more sparkle with an elf polish, and that's called Twinkle. So I've done 2 coats of the Essence and then 1 coat of the elf, and it gives you that gorgeous shimmery sparkle colour. And then the paints we're going to be using again are the Folk Art paints, which are these ones. So we're going to be using red, white, black, tiny bit of yellow, and then we made an orange with the yellow and the red. So it just shows that you only need a couple of the basic colours and you can make any of the colours you need. So the brushes, they're just going to be this brush here and my dotting tool. So we're going to start off with the penguin. We are going to do some snow underneath. I'm going to put some white onto my brush. This is just going to show you where the penguin's going to stand. So we want it to be kind of transparent to add some different shading to the snow. So that's that there. Then we'll go back over that later and fill in where we need to be solid and add more detail to it. So I'm going to go on with the penguin's head. I'm going to put some black onto my brush. And we're going to start now. So I'm going to do the round of his head here. So that'd be his head. And then onto the body. Let's get some more paint. So we don't want to go the whole way around, just down to about there. Then do his little flipper coming out here. I'm going to fill in here a little bit more. So it saves us having to cut in later with the black. So there is the basic shape of the penguin. And we're going to add his little feet using the orange we made, which will be down here. Going to go on with the red of the Santa hat, just while the black dries a little bit more. And just a rough outline. So just going to have it blowing over in the wind a little bit. Just adds a little bit of movement to the picture. And just overlapping on the head a tiny bit. So you can see the black is almost dry there. You can tell because it's very shiny when it's wet and it goes matte when it's dry. So you can see here is all dry, there's still wet and the feet are wet. So I'm going to go in with our white and add some detail. So we're going to do the body first while we wait for the head to dry. Just going to make that round. And then down onto and in between his little feet. And then colour in the body. And now onto the head. So we're going to do a shape of the face. And you can see it's starting to come together a little bit there. And I'm just going to add the white of the hat while I wait for that white to dry. So I tend to do this in just little dotty movements, so it's not just a line across. So just pushing down a little bit at a time. And then the ball on the hat. Now while waiting for that to dry, I'm just going to go add more detail to the snow. So I'm going to start off with down here, it will be solid white. And then get a tiny bit of black and mix it with the white to make a very light grey. It's just to add some shading to it. The white is just not pure white if there's something standing on it. So just going to add a little bit of shading. Again, it'll do without this if it's just basic. But I find it just gives a little bit more detail. And just pushing it onto the nail so it doesn't look too forced. So you can just see it looks a tiny bit darker. It is just a shade or two darker than it. Now I can see a tiny bit of the face is crooked, so I'm just going to go in and fix that. Just going to add some more black around the face as well. So you can just see here how much paint I have on my brush. It is very little. Yeah. So I'm back in with some more orange for the beak using the same brush. There is the beak. Now using the very tiny end of a dotting tool. It's about the size, it's even smaller than a ballpoint pen. If you don't have a dotting tool, you can use a cocktail stick or the very end of a dried up pen. For big dots you can use the end of your brush. For the tiny dots, if you don't have one of these, a cocktail stick would do, which you can get in most shops. So I'll just show you now how you would do that. So there's a cocktail stick there. And I'm just going to dip it into some black and show you here on my palette. So it's just on the very end there. So you can see how the dots just get smaller and smaller as you go. And it gives you the exact same effect as a dotting tool. So I'll just show you with the dotting tool here. So into the black. Yeah. Or with the bigger end you'll get the bigger dots going into smaller. So the dots can be used for anything really. Something even more basic would be a basic flower, which I'll just show you while I have the dotting tool. So we'll do it with red. So the bigger side you would use to do some petals around, put some more paint on. Make sure you can see this. So because it gets smaller as you go around, you just load your brush again, you can go back over them, or load your dotting tool. And then for the middle, put in a yellow. So you can see how that's just a very small basic flower. And dotting tools can be used for a lot of things. They can be used for drawing some very fine details. So you'd use them like a pen, and then just put more ink, more paint on. Then you can just keep going and going like that if you don't have a very small brush. But they add great detail and help balance out your nail if you use them in that way. So just going to put the eyes on with the tiny end of the dotting tool. So you need a very, very steady hand for that, so you don't end up with the cross-eyed. So there is your Christmas penguin, and now we're going to add some snow around. So we're doing this with this brush again and drying it off, and then putting a little bit of white paint on, taking the excess off, so it is very, very dry. So you can see it there, not much paint on it at all. So I'm just going to go around the background. Well, it just looks like snow falling in the background, and it blends in with the shimmer and the sparkle of the background to make it look like the snow is falling and stars in the sky. So you can add more prominent snow by just getting more white and just adding little dots around the nail. Now you wouldn't use a dotting tool for this bit because the dots would be too uniform, whereas each snowflake is different, so they'll all be different sizes. That's why using a brush is great for it. Now I'm just going to add some more detail to the white fur on the hat with the same grey I used for the snow. So it just adds more shading, so I'm just going to dot it along there. So it just adds a little bit more shading and more depth to the picture. So this brush is the brush I use for nearly everything, as I said before. It's great to have a universal brush that most of your work is done with. You don't need a lot of brushes, which I find when most people start out, they buy loads and loads of brushes, and I have done that. I still have loads of brushes. I have packs and packs of them, but I always come back to my main brushes, which is this one, my longer detailing one, my short detailing one, my one stroke, and my dotting tool. I find they're all the brushes you really need, unless you're doing some bigger paintings, which you wouldn't really do on nails. I wouldn't really use any of the other brushes I have. I have my long striping brush, but I find the shorter striping brush does a better job. You have more control. And then I have other brushes I cut down but don't really use because these ones seem to do all the jobs I need them for. So now we're going to top coat that and hope it's dry. So again, loads of polish on the brush so you don't drag it. And it gives it that nice shine. Yeah. So there is your basic Christmas penguin with a shimmery background and your Santa hat. So if you need to get in touch with me, or if you have any questions or any requests, please leave a comment below and like the video, share it with all your friends, share it with anyone that's into nail art or anyone with kids who would be interested in this sort of thing but don't want to pay the big money going to a salon to get their kids' nails done. I will be doing some more simple designs along with some more advanced ones. Any requests, leave a comment below, or you can email me at touchofsparkle1@gmail.com. You can find me on Facebook at A Touch of Sparkle, or on my nail art page, which is Nail Art Inspiration, where I have a few photos step by step. You can also make requests there. So until next time.